Hello, people at First Congregational Church of Wayne. It is good to be with you this morning. We hope that you are having a good day so far and that you'll have a good day the rest of the day and a good week as far as that goes. I think it's good to get together on Sundays, of course, for worship, but also good to get together in the middle of the week. And so I'd like to touch base with you during these times, just to let you know what's going on in my life. And I can't really connect with you directly, but at least we can go this direction. And hopefully, as you talk with one another, you can share your lives with each other and what's going on in your lives and how you're getting along and what you're up to. It looks as though we won't be back together again until June. The governor has closed down the state until the end of May, and so group gatherings certainly will not continue, will not resume until June 1st. So we'll have to wait and see how that all goes. We may be an extra couple of weeks beyond that simply for safety measures, because we want everybody to be safe and not to be worried about catching that virus. And of course, even after we get back together, whenever that is, we'll want to exercise that social distancing and keep hugs and kisses to a bare minimum. But it will be so good to be able to get back together again and see one another. People that we've known for perhaps decades, and get together again as a congregation. But anyway, not until the 1st of June. There have been well over 1 million people infected with the virus in the United States alone. Some over 3 million in the world, but 1 million just in the United States. That's a staggering number. And 68,000 have died directly or indirectly as a result of the coronavirus. Now, I know some who have gotten the virus, but I don't know any who have actually died of it. And I'm thankful to God for that, and hopefully that stays that way. And I hope that you're the same way, that you may know people who have gotten the virus or have been sick or even exposed to it and feeling a little bit in danger. But hopefully you don't know anybody who has died of it, and hopefully we keep it that way forever. But I do thank you for watching, both here on Wednesdays and on Sunday mornings. I know that when Linda sent out the announcement about the video being posted for worship, she said you can watch Steve's worship service on YouTube or on our website. But it's not Steve's worship service. It is our worship service. It's worship service of First Congregational Church. And we want to keep that in mind, that it is us who are the church, and not me and not the building, but it is us as a church family. So I thank you for watching. It is our service, and we want to be a part of it. And even though we can't be together physically, we can be together virtually in that way, as we know that we're watching the same kinds of things. I want to give another big thanks to Michelle Good, for the wonderful job that she's been doing with the videos. She is just a phenomenal person in terms of tech, as well as her musical abilities are astounding. So thank you, Michelle, for all that you do. I know that we all appreciate it so much. We did get an email from a friend of mine who lives out in Coldwater, Michigan this week. He commented on the worship service. He said that he enjoys worshiping with us in our congregation on Sunday mornings more than he likes going to his own church. And so I think that says a lot about what we're doing and the ministry that we're having here. So hopefully some of your friends will also tune in and enjoy the worship with you along with the rest of us at First Congregational. So let people know about the videos and let them know that we're getting together virtually every Sunday morning, and tell them how impressed you are with the quality of our videos, and hopefully they'll come along, and perhaps, you never know, perhaps when we're able to get together again, they will actually start coming to church. This might be a wonderful entrance way into inviting them to be a part of our congregation. Sue and I have been going for long walks each day. We walk for a little over a mile. We want to increase that. Sue said yesterday she was going to increase it by a block each day. So apparently we're going to be going further and further each day, and eventually we'll be walking all the way to Wayne and back. But it is good for us, and the weather's been so nice last week. This week it's going to be a little bit chillier, but last week was just so pleasant and nice to be outside. I hope that you're all getting out. Now, This, of course, is a time when we do things we don't normally do. One of the things that I've been doing is some projects that I've been putting off for years and years. I think I told you about this last week. I have finally completed our pictures. We have 13,700 pictures that I've gone through and put on one of those electronic or digital picture frames in our house. It's set so that every time someone walks by, it activates and it starts more pictures. So it's just fun to see places that we've been and people that we've known over the years and things that we've done. So hopefully you're in some of those pictures as well, because you're a part of our lives, and we enjoy seeing that. So that's one of the projects I've been doing. And now my next project is to work on a picture book of a month-long European tour we took almost 2 years ago, which I've been putting off and putting off and putting off, and hopefully I'm going to finally get to it so we have a keepsake from that really long and wonderful trip. It's also, for all of us, is a good time just to think, to read, to pray, to call friends and family, to Zoom if you can. This evening, or rather last evening, we had a book club on Zoom. We had a dozen book club members get together, just chatting away, discussing a book we read this last month. So that's kind of a fun experience. If we have to be sequestered like this, if we have to be alone so much, it's wonderful to live in an age where we can Zoom with people. We can literally see them and talk to them at the same time, even though we can't be physically present. You know, a century ago, such an idea wasn't even conceived of, and here it is in our living rooms every day if we have the technical ability. Now, some of our congregation, of course, don't have computers or don't have the technical ability to see the worship services or the Wednesday morning times together. So I hope that if you know some of our congregation who doesn't have that ability, that you will somehow get it to them or somehow make it possible so that they can have it in their lives as well. This Sunday is Mother's Day. I hope that you remembered that if you are a mother or a grandmother or a stepmother or a mother-in-law, and that you will be honored on that special day. I called my mother midweek last week and chatted with her a little bit. I talked to her every Sunday afternoon, and I said, well, I'll call you in a couple of days on Sunday. She said, don't call me, there is no new news. And I guess that's really how it is in our lives these days, that very few things are new. And so every day looks pretty much like the day before, looks like the day after, and we just keep on going and nothing terribly significant happens enough to share news with. So, but today I'd like to talk a little bit about not a mother, but a mother-in-law and a daughter-in-law and their relationship in one of my favorite books of the Bible, which is the Book of Ruth. Now, I love Ruth because it's a story that just touches the heart. It's also a story about a woman who has loyalty and faithfulness, and also, as it turns out, it's a short book. It's one of the shortest books in the Bible. If you have a chance to read the entire Book of Ruth, please do it, even after I'm going to tell you the story, so that you can see the details of it that I'm not going to be able to get into today. But it's one of the shorter books of the Bible, just 4 chapters, so it'll take you maybe 10 minutes to read it. But pick up the Book of Ruth and read it through. Ruth was a Moabite woman. She and her mother-in-law were Moabites. Rather, Ruth was a Moabite. What happened was that Moab is on the the eastern side of the Dead Sea, and Bethlehem is on the eastern side, the western side of the Dead Sea. And so they're across the sea from one another, and yet because the sea is fairly large, the climate is actually different on one side than it is on the other. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the Dead Sea is at the southern tip of Israel, and it is literally the lowest spot on earth. And so water flows into the Dead Sea from various different mountain ranges and hills in the area, and it all converges in the Dead Sea. And it has nowhere to go from there because there is no lower spot any place on earth for it to go. Consequently, what happens is the water gets there, and the only way it can get out of the Dead Sea is to evaporate. And so the water evaporates, leaving behind tremendous mineral deposits. So the Dead Sea is one of those places that has more minerals than almost any other place in the world as well. So that if you go out into the Dead Sea and walk out into it waist high, it's a little bit dangerous because you will upend. Because you cannot sink in the Dead Sea, you always float. So if you get above your waist, then you get thrown up into the air and you start to float. But anyway, Moab is on one side of the Dead Sea and Bethlehem was on the other side. A man named Elimelech and his wife Naomi live in the town of Bethlehem. But in their particular time period, there was a great famine that went through the land, and they had to find food for their family. And so Elimelech took Naomi and his two sons, Mahlon and Chilion. I think they might have been twins because of their names. I'm not quite sure. Mahlon and Chilion. They had two sons, and they journeyed around the Dead Sea over to the land of Moab. Now, Moab was not a Jewish area, but rather a Gentile area, and they had some hostilities towards one another. So it was a dangerous place to go, but also one that had some food. And so when your family is starving and hungry and in need, you do what needs to be done. So you go around the lake, or around the sea, and you get to the other side, to the land where there is something to have. Well, when they get there, their sons find Moabite women to marry. There's no Jewish women to marry, so one marries a woman named Orpah, not Oprah, but Orpah, and another one marries a woman named Ruth. Well, 10 years later, after they've lived there, Elimelech dies. And they live on just the two sons, the two wives, and Naomi for a number of years, until eventually the two sons also died. Now, we don't know if there was some kind of a disease like the coronavirus or something like that, but somehow Mahlon and Chilion both die. And so they leave three women, Naomi, their mother, and Ruth and Orpah, the wives, destitute. Now, in those days, women without husbands and caregivers were pretty much destitute. What can you do? How do you, there's no such thing as Social Security, there's no such thing as welfare, there's no such thing as survivor's benefits. And so how do you survive? It's very, very difficult. And so Naomi, who loved Orpah and loved Ruth immensely, comes to a decision. She says to Ruth and Orpah, you girls are young, you're beautiful, you have your lives ahead of you. Your husbands have died. It's a terrible thing. I'm so sorry about that. But you have your lives ahead of you. I need you to go back to your people and find other husbands and live your lives. I can't take care of you, and you can't take care of me. Now, Orpah, being a very wise woman, says, that seems like a good plan. And so she does, in fact, with tears and sorrow, leave Naomi and Ruth and go back to her people, the Moabites. But Ruth says, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stay with you. I'm going to stay for as long as I can, and we'll make it together. And then Ruth says that famous phrase that is used often in weddings. In fact, it was used in my own wedding with Sue. But it's one of those wonderful phrases of commitment. And Ruth says to Naomi, where you go, I will go. Where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God shall be my God. And so Naomi decided that she would stay with, Ruth decided she would stay with Naomi. Naomi said, well, you know, we can't make it here, so I'm going back over to Bethlehem area and see if I got some relatives over there, perhaps they can help us out. So they traveled once again, Ruth and Naomi, around the Dead Sea over to the Bethlehem area. And they found a cousin of Naomi's named Boaz. And now Boaz was a fine man. And Naomi said, you know, we're going to starve to death if you don't help us. What can you do? And Boaz said, well, here's what I'll do. I don't want to humiliate you, but I will allow you and Ruth also to go along behind the harvesters, and what they leave in the field, by accident, you can have and you can sell that and you can live on that and you can eat that and you can survive. So Boaz allows them to do that, and he instructs the harvesters not to be too careful about getting every last grain out of the field, and to leave some for the women. And so he was a righteous and a fine man for that. And so they were able to survive on a shoestring, but they were able to survive. And Naomi has this idea that Boaz might be a potential mate for Ruth. So she tries to be a yenta a little bit, and does that, and tries to get them together. But Boaz will not take advantage of a poor widow. He knows that if he stepped in, he could in fact be the hero of the day and save these two women, certainly save Ruth. But it wouldn't be right, he felt, to take advantage of their economic situation. So he said, I'm not going to do that. But instead what he does, he goes and he explores the inheritance laws and finds that Naomi can in fact receive some part of what her husband Elimelech had years ago back in the Bethlehem area. And so he sets that up so that she can in fact survive, and Ruth as well. And after they are both set and they're feeling that they can survive now, he does in fact marry Ruth. Now, what happens next is kind of interesting, because Ruth and Boaz have a son that they name Obed, which is an unusual name, of course. Obed grows up and he has a son named Jesse. And Jesse grows up and he has a son named David. And he becomes King David. And you know the whole line, how it goes down from David all the way to Jesus. Jesus is after the line of David. And so Ruth, this Moabite woman, is an ancestor of Jesus. Now, I think this whole story tells us about the faithfulness and loyalty are richly rewarded. That when we stick with what we know to be right, when we love people beyond measure, and no matter what happens, we are richly rewarded. God's plan uses his people and foreigners alike. And I think that's an important thing to know too. It's not just people like us that God blesses, but God blesses all people and has all of them to be a part of the whole plan of Jesus coming into the world. It's also a wonderful lesson about mothers and daughters-in-law. Family is important. You stick together no matter what, through thick and thin. You are family. You want to be together. You need to be together. You are people that God has thrown together, and you've melded together, and you are one. And it also reminds us that we need to, like Boaz, take care of one another. When we see people in need, we somehow reach out to them. We do what needs to be done so that they can have what they need to have to survive and to be well. I hope that what we can do for those people that we know about who have need, and there are certainly a lot of people who have need these days, that we can pray for someone that you know, that you can give them a call, and you give them a word of encouragement. Now, maybe we can't help like Boaz did. Maybe we can't take them under our wing. But we can let them know that we care, and we know about their situation, that we're praying for them. And then tell them that we're praying for them. I think that's a great encouragement to know that somebody is remembering us before the throne of God. And in that way, we express our love for Christ. And I think that is, in fact, the whole story of the Book of Ruth, the whole story of the book of our faith, the whole story of who we ought to be as Christians, as followers of Jesus. Let us pray together. Gracious God, thank you for this day that you have given to us. Thank you for this next week, which will be in isolation, the week after and the week after. We pray that you'll help us to relish in the renewal of this time, of the relaxation, with the being able to get things done that we've been putting aside. That you'll help us to think about those people that we know that might be in need and reach out to them in some way, whether it be in a physical way by sending them some money to help them get along, or simply by praying and letting them know that we're praying for them. We pray, O Lord, that you will keep all of us safe, that you will keep our families safe, that you will keep us always in your care and under your wing. These things we ask in the name our Lord Jesus. Amen. For you mothers, mothers-in-law, and any of you who have mothers, happy Mother's Day this Sunday. We hope to see you then. God bless you all.